Dollar. Dirt and money, no soul. Had to go and get it, ain't no time to kick it. Got a stack of flip for my foes. Dollar. Please tell me you can hear me. Don't turn your back and don't neglect me. Just let me know if you need me. Dollar. Let me watch out for my partners. Keep my money long, get my team strong. Let me run away from my problems.
Yup, what's good, original crew, man? We're back. Got another Rotten Mango. Today, man, Rotten Mango, we got TikToker in perfect relationship accused of cleaning crime scene for her boyfriend's alleged double murder. You gonna clean up my crime scene if I do something? No. CC, you gonna be the first to call the police, ain't you?
Probably.
Dang, bro, I ain't got a real one, y'all.
Yeah, you got a real one.
She ain't gonna hold me down.
One. I ain't about to.
She ain't gonna hold me down, y'all.
You put me in a situation to
I do love you.
Like this. No,
it might be.
You don't. That's not love.
How's it not?
That's not love.
How's it not? Oh, did you hear that the couple that the Facebook thing? Supposedly he had.
I don't know no details, so I ain't putting none out there.
I said supposedly.
Supposedly you don't know either, so just mind your business. And
I don't know no facts, man.
But yeah, but no, I'm not.
Facts about that case still coming out too. Y'all know about that one? The whole situation with the couple. Were they Facebook or TikTok? I don't know. I ain't never heard of them until that day in that situation. But RP, you know, sad tragedy way to go out in both ways, right? But hey. Make sure you check out the links in the description box.
Down below.
You already know where to go if you want to first support. All you got to do is check out down below. Also, if you enjoyed today's visuals.
Like it with a thumbs up.
But say, man, let's get into it. Let's check this one out. Let's see what's about. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right, let's get it, man. Let's go.
Bada bing, bada boo.
There was a viral tweet recently. It's something along the lines of, a woman's notes app holds more mystery, more intrigue, more truths than any film. Listen, I don't know exactly what it means, but I do know that my notes app is just like high security clearance level type stuff. I mean, my whole brain is on there. Grocery lists, like new restaurants that I want to try out, directions on how to fix my stove, the emotional text message that I never sent, but I redrafted 25 times. Like all of that is in my notes app. And I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate to that. A lot of people speculate that a famous TikToker and influencer by the name of Kathy Vu, they speculate that she, like us, had a very colorful notes app. So she mainly did voiceover TikToks. I actually came across her page before I even knew about this case, before this case even took place. I felt like we had very similar aesthetics. Like she loved everything pink, pastel. She had this moving out series that was actually very fun to watch. And I think that's how her social media just started blowing up, like taking off. She had this very sweet way of speaking.
When I navigated dating before I met my boyfriend, I literally used to think that I had to prove to the people that I dated that I didn't need much from them.
And it just kind of made you feel like, she feels like an older sister, or she feels like a sister telling me about her day. She's also a little bit inspirational. She would showcase her lifestyle, which was, I wouldn't even say it's like normal. It's just really nice. Like she had a very nice lifestyle. She had just moved into this new luxury apartment, bought a ton of these like cute kitchenwares, and she would show everyone hacks on like how to do your laundry the right way, like what to check before you move into a new place. She also gave a lot of relationship advice. She would post motivational workout videos. I mean, it wouldn't be hard to imagine that she had a lot of young girls looking up to this seemingly perfect life online. So in one TikTok, she talked about her relationship and all the things that her boyfriend would do for her. It's kind of giving the audience the whole, this is what a man should do in a relationship. This is how you should be cared for. If he wanted to, he would type of advice video. She writes text in the TikTok while she shows off clips of him doing all these things for her. And it says, things my boyfriend does that have forever raised my standards. Always carries my luggage for me, always down to travel and do something spontaneous, shows me his favorite things and is open to my interest even if they're out of his comfort zone, is the most practical and thoughtful gift giver and pays attention to my interests. But most importantly, he caters to my emotional needs, which allows me to be my most authentic, weird self. She even posted a TikTok showcasing a MacBook that he had bought her for her birthday. And people were looking up to this relationship. I mean, they were commenting about how this is how boyfriends should be treating their girlfriends. This is the new standard. And then everything absolutely imploded. Kathy's boyfriend was wanted by Interpol for a double homicide, and Kathy Vu herself was arrested for tampering with a crime scene. Authorities would find a notes app on her phone filled with a list of cleaning supplies that they think was used in cleaning up the crime scene to a murder. A murder that allegedly, the authorities theorize, her boyfriend had committed. They also believe that her boyfriend bought her that MacBook very soon after. Social media has now stated that was her thank you for cleaning up the crime scene gift.
Shut up.
Let's get into what happened.
Oh, this. What y'all say? This is tea. It's about to be crazy.
As always, full show notes are available at rottenmangopodcast.com. This is still a developing case, and this is just what we know as of the production date, or rather, like what we know of when this video is posted. With the trial coming up, I'm assuming there's going to be a lot more information that comes out with the legal process. I will say though, okay, nobody has been convicted of a crime. People have been charged. There are theories of why they've done things. There are speculations, but this is just all theories at the end of the day. We're not going to know if they're guilty until it's proved in court.
True.
Wait, so the boyfriend and Kathy are both arrested or bailed, or?
So basically, the boyfriend has another accomplice that was arrested for capital murder. So the boyfriend and the accomplice, another guy, are arrested for capital murder. They have not been granted bail, and Kathy has been granted bail, and she has much lesser charges of tampering with evidence, I believe.
Would you think she would flip in a case like this? She
Yeah.
telling it all?
I think she'll flip.
Or you don't think she gonna hold it down?
Unless she gonna hold her boyfriend down.
Man, would you say you already said
you
no,
t-
we married, so.
I don't have to. I'm sorry. Like I
So
said,
you wanna come help me clean the crime scene up? See,
I just don't feel like that's like truly real love to make a selfish choice like that and then get me in on it.
yeah.
For me to that's not love to me. So if anyone thinks that is, I feel bad for you.
But you know how
My heart goes out to you if you think that, but that's not.
But you know how like social media, the music industry, like all the entertainment tell you that, but you got to be a ride or die. Like that's the thing that they put out there for people. You have to be a ride or die. But there's ways to ride or die, because the ride or die part of it would be get your significant other to realize that's not the right decision to.
Yeah,
that's how you ride or die, right?
I don't look at it like that. That this is ride or die or whatever, but that's just not me.
I will say, though, that this case, even on the social media, but also the mainstream aspect, like the mainstream media front of this, has centered more around Kathy Vu. She's become the main topic of discussion with this case because I think, for one, it's fascinating that someone can have such a, quote, open or transparent public internet life, if you will, and then turn around and have such dark things happening behind the scenes. I do understand the fascination of that. And even just the contrast itself of her being this very soft voice girl with like a love for Sanrio and then allegedly being involved in a brutal, gruesome double homicide. I can understand that there's a lot of shock and intrigue, but it is important to remember that there are two other parties involved. And I think because there's just not a lot of information on them, everyone has just been laser focused on Kathy Vu. And I will say that even this episode will have more.
You said what?
I said it's like because she's the face, because
She has the most popularity.
She was the one that was known. So it's like now since you're associated with this, we don't know the other two like that. So we're just going to drill in on you.
And depending on the time of the homicides,
Yeah.
TikTok popularity was like, you know what I'm saying? So you know.
Involved. And I think because there's just not a lot of information on them, everyone has just been laser focused on Kathy Vu. And I will say that even this episode will have more information on Kathy as of right now, since she was the public figure when all of this went down. But hopefully that will change as the trial moves forward and we will get more information on the 2 other perpetrators. But with that being said, let's get into it. In 2009, a reporter/writer named Evan Ratcliffe disappeared. 2009. Okay, well, he tried to disappear. It was a challenge. He wanted to see, in the era of Facebook, Instagram, cell phones, security cameras on every street corner, he wanted to see if he could hide somewhere in the world without his readers finding him. He offered up $5,000 for anyone that could find him, and they had 1 month to do so. This was like a whole movement on social media. People were forming groups, like watchdog groups. They were forming Instagram pages. Everyone was trying to find him, not even just for the $5,000, but for the fact that they could. They wanted to prove something. He was found 3 weeks later by a team of civilians who were interested in the reward money. 3 weeks.
So did he post anything on social media during that time?
He left little nuggets here and there, but they weren't big. They were really not big at all.
Yeah. You know the TikTok that try to find where I am with the photo, like you geolocate.
Oh, so scary, terrifying, right? And I imagine it's only getting harder now because that was in 2009 and this is 2023. I mean, think about what could have happened in like the past
14 years.
Yes, 14 years. But if you had to, right? Do you think it would be safer to go to a densely populated city? Like, would you rather go to New York City, Hong Kong, Macau, Beijing, like all these cities where there's so many people that you can get lost in the crowd, that you can blend in? Or do you go somewhere where very few travel? Like the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, for sure.
Middle of nowhere?
Yeah.
Less eyeballs, like somewhere.
Which one would you rather do?
If I'm like trying to just like escape
and not be seen,
be seen, but I don't announce it. I just do it. I probably would try to blend in, but in this.
No, I'm saying like they said, big city or like middle of nowhere.
Big city, I would try to blend in.
Okay.
But since you announced it and you like make this like a hunt for people and like, you know, it's a reward and people now are looking and I don't know how many people this got out to.
No, I'm not even talking about that part. I'm just saying like, say for instance, you know what I'm saying? Like you want it or something. You ready to go?
I want it?
Yeah.
Probably middle of nowhere.
Honestly, me, I'd rather go blend in. Cause we come from towns like middle of nowhere, right?
That's different.
No, and I'm finna tell you why I'm taking that approach. Middle of nowhere, small towns, people knows.
You said I want it, so I want it.
I'm saying if you want it, or just to say, hey, I want a fresh start. Let me just take that direction then. Fresh start, but I'm trying to be like as low key as possible.
You want me to answer again?
Yeah. Same answer.
The same answer. Again, what I was trying to say is, yeah, same answer.
Say what you was trying to say.
Same answer. If it's just, I just want to escape, be low key, I want to blend in with people, I'll go to a big city. But in this case, I would probably go in the middle of nowhere because you put it on Facebook and I don't know how many people have gotten out to, and I'm in this big city. It got to probably somebody in this city. So I'd rather just be in the middle of nowhere so that you probably can't find me or it'll be harder to reach me.
But so the reason why I said I'd rather go to a big city is because people in small towns are freaking nosy. We ain't seen you around here before. Who are you? And they get the fucking trying to figure who you are, and they go tell this person. We got a new person in town. Who was this person? They trying to, and then you just out about shopping. Somebody gonna try to find out every last bit of your information, your personal business. I've been in plenty of towns like that. Grew up in very small towns. My mom's from even a smaller town, so having to go there as a kid, like everybody knows everybody. So you come into the town, you stand out like a sore thumb. And somebody bound to try to figure out who the hell you is. Now you move into a big city, you just flow into it. You just blend in. Nobody gives a fuck who you are. Just another part, like New York. You throw me in New York right now, I just fall in, go with the flow of traffic, you know?
Like the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, for sure.
Middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Less eyeballs, like somewhere wooded, somewhere quiet.
Yeah, absolutely.
Interesting. So Ho Chi Minh City actually has more people than New York City. Did you know that?
Okay. Really?
Yeah. The city surrounds the Saigon River. It's in Vietnam, which I heard it's really beautiful at night because the city lights reflect off the river. Yeah, and it's beautiful. It's a city that also feels like it never sleeps. Apparently their nightlife is really crazy, like just rooftop bars, nightclubs, casinos, like no sleep, next club, back to back. And it just feels like a big Vegas, but better. Like you can blend in, you can feel like you can let loose and no one will know. No one will even remember by the time that the sun comes up. Even in February, it feels like summertime in Vietnam. So thousands of people, they're traveling from all over the world to Vietnam to hide away from like the winter months of the other countries. And it's nice in the sense that everyone truly feels like they go about their business. They don't really pay too much attention to what everybody else in the city is doing. I imagine that finding your friend in a city like this would require back and forth communication. Like you would need to have a meetup spot. You would need to coordinate a time. But imagine you have to find someone in the city that doesn't want to be found. Someone that's hiding. There were two young men hiding in Vietnam. They're trying their best to blend in and be invisible. You have 26-year-old Paulie Fan and 25-year-old Jaden Wen. The two took very different approaches. They landed in Vietnam on different planes.
How old was the second guy?
I think 26 was 25.
You have 26-year-old Paulie Fan and 25-year-old Jaden Wen. The two took very different approaches. They landed in Vietnam on different planes, on different days, and Paulie, he tried his best to blend in with the crowd in Ho Chi Minh City. He's trying to stay under the radar. He's trying to appear normal from the outside. Like if you were to bump into him on the street, you're like, oh, this is just another random resident. He would actually go to the gym. Sometimes he would even go out on the weekends. He would join the nightlife. And every time he would go back to his place of residence, he would look left, he would look right. He would look over his shoulder to make sure that he wasn't being followed, and then he would put his key in the door. Jaden had a completely different approach. He went to like the suburbs, the place where very few go. Not even just like regular suburbs. I'm talking like countryside. He met a young woman, pretended to fall in love, offered her a visa into his home country, the United States. And her parents willingly took him in with open arms. And for a while it worked. Nobody suspected that these two young men were wanted by Interpol. Nobody knew that. Because just a few days ago, before they landed in Vietnam, they had allegedly, brutally murdered two men in cold blood. Let me take you to the day of the murder. January 26th, 2023. Let's talk about John, okay? John is his fake name. He's anonymous, but he is a neighbor. He's been trying to fall asleep for the past, I don't know, like 3 hours. He's tossing and turning. He's trying to put his cushion over his head. And his damn dog just was going at it, like barking nonstop. Just would not give it up. John is like, what do I need to do? Do I need to show you every room in the house to tell you that we don't have a home intruder? Nothing is going on. His dog is practically pacing around his house nonstop as if someone had lit a fire under its butt. Side note, John doesn't really seem that nervous that there was something going on or that there was someone outside lurking in the woods trying to get into his house. He lived in a gated private community in Houston, Texas, with only about like 10 other houses. It's really safe. The houses were also pretty close to one another. So it's not townhomes. They're not stuck together. They're not sharing walls, but they've got tiny little slivers of side yards. So it's really hard for someone to have a home invasion and the neighbors don't notice. Everyone sees everything. So this is pretty much as safe as you can get in a single family home. There's a lot of Ring cameras nearby, a lot of nosy residents, a lot of close proximity. It would be very difficult for someone to even rob one of these 10 houses. So he lifts up his head and he's like, okay, what in the world is going on? Like, please go to sleep. And he flips over and he knocks out. He gets up a few hours later to start the day. and he looks out his window as he always does as he drinks his cup of coffee, and everything is normal. Neighbors are walking their dogs as normal. He could see across the street into his neighbor's house, James. James is his neighbor, and James's white Prius is in the garage. I mean, everything seems like that morning bustle before everyone's heading to work. John picks up his dog to bring him to the front lawn, and he glances back up at James's house. And it's strange because his white Prius is sitting in his garage. His garage door is open. It's lifted.
Like he forgot to close it.
Yes, but now that he's outside, he can actually hear the Prius is running. The engine is on.
Oh.
And it's parked, and it doesn't look like anyone was inside of the car. But again, would you really consider this some sort of like bombshell neighborly gossip even? It's January in Houston. I mean, it's not freezing, but it's pretty cold. If you're running into your house to grab your phone or run back out to leave after you grab something, you would probably keep your car on so that you don't get cold on the way out.
But it's Houston. January. Houston, January, it's not cold. It's actually like Texas is hot, so it is abnormal. Especially a small knit community, you start paying. Especially if y'all, it depends on how long y'all been there. Y'all pay attention to each other's patterns. And you pay attention to each other's pattern without like literally paying attention to each other's patterns. Like you just notice things. You're not trying to notice things, but you're noticing it because this is their routine. This is how they normally do. Like, this is this and this is this. Like, you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, like, say, for instance, when we first moved here, the neighbors we had, we knew when they were out of town just by how they normally do things. They used to leave the blinds wide open with the light on. And I'd be like, oh, so they're out of town. You know what I'm saying? It just became repetitive how they do things. And I'd be like, okay, they're out of town. Just, you know what I'm saying? Not actively trying to help them keep an eye on the house. But if I see something, I'll be able to, you know what I'm saying? Because as you walk by, if somebody burglarizing the home, I will be able to look in there and tell somebody burglarizing the home, you know? So you pay attention to certain repetitive natures. So
John goes back into his home and he goes through the motions of his morning routine. He heads back outside once more to hop into his car and leave when he's like, oh my God, James's Prius is still parked in the garage is still open, and the car is still on. And there's no sign of James anywhere. And again, he doesn't think anything terrible happened. He's just thinking, maybe he doesn't know. I gotta let him know, like, hey, bud, you left your car open, right? You left your car on. He called James's phone. No response. He starts feeling a little curious, a little anxious. So he makes his way over to his neighbor's garage. And the engine is on, but not only that, this is where he starts feeling kind of like a unsettling feeling. The windshield wipers are going.
Was it raining last night?
Maybe. It's really weird. Why are the windshield wipers still going? Like, even if you're running in to grab something, you would probably turn it off. Windshield wipers, even when it's drizzling, I like to turn it off and then I'm like, okay, I need it again. It's
Defrosting?
just, it's just like, tick, 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 it's squeaking like back and forth, almost in like a creepy haunted manner. The car is empty. The garage is empty. The house feels eerily quiet. You're just like, James? No response. John walks around, goes to the front door because it's pretty rude to like open the garage door and be like, hello, are you in here? Yeah. And he starts knocking on the door, ringing the doorbell, no response. And now John's thinking either I move on with my day and I go to work or I do something a little bit crazy. And you know what? It's crazy, but I think it's okay.
What would you do in a situation like this? I ain't gonna hold you. I know what I wouldn't do. But I just want to see where your head is.
What would you?
I'm not opening the door. I'm not putting my DNA on something that's possible. But I know you, and I know you're very caring. So that's the reason why I'm asking you, what would you do?
I know the person. Like, I talk to him. I'm close to him. Got
says old lady across the street.
I got their number.
Says old lady across the street.
Which one?
Corner. You got her number and stuff. You contact her. You know her pattern. I know her pattern. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? What would you do? You call her. Her car's running. Windshield wipers are going. It's warm out. I done walked the dog, right? I'll come back, I'm like, hey, she's still, you know what I'm saying? Kind of looking a little weird.
I probably wouldn't go inside just because if something did happen, because that's very unusual, I don't want to contaminate anything.
Yeah.
So I would like immediately call 911.
And be like, some strange.
I call 911.
Even, I think you'll do it.
I'll do it for anybody. I call 911. Especially if it just doesn't seem, some seems off. Especially just about like everyone like in this, like from here.
That's been here.
From here over.
Even though he just moved in.
Yeah.
He's real cool.
Yeah, he cool. Like,
yeah.
he cool. That's why I said from here.
Yeah.
Over, most definitely, because I can see and I know like their patterns,
Majority
and work
of people
schedule, and when they come home, and who lives with them, and who like I know all of that just because I'm here and I see and I watch. I'm not watching you being like weird, but it's just like I like
observe over.
I'm very observant anyway, so I notice stuff like I'm like, oh, someone you got company. Like I know it sounds weird.
It's not like you're trying to pay attention.
I'm not trying to pay attention. It's just everyone like really has the same routine, like clockwork. And you just, like, pick up on people's habits. Like, everyone's been here for longer than we have, but we've been here for some years now. So, everyone's still been here.
Say, for instance, I'm moving around for about a week, and people don't see you. Mm-hmm. They gonna say something. They're gonna be like, something strange. Yeah.
Most definitely.
If I'm just going about my day and, you get what I mean?
Yeah, so...
He goes around the bushes and starts trying to peek in through the front window of the house.
Okay, he's trying to peek in.
If James catches him, I'm sure that there would be this awkward moment of explanation, but something in his gut is like, I gotta do it. I just don't feel good about this. I don't think that I can go about the rest of my day and not keep thinking back on this morning.
Right.
You can go to the patio. We live in townhomes, y'all. That's why we...
Well, I wouldn't be able to get in unless I jumped over it. I couldn't jump over
it. I can't get in the back of the patio. No, we can't access the back of the patio without, like...
Or first, I would, like, if I see that, maybe I'll try to call her first. She won't pick up, ring the doorbell, knock on the door.
Because she got a Ring camera.
She has a Ring camera, right?
Almost everybody over here
and nothing, still nothing. And then maybe I give it, like 1 minute. Just because, because I'm already an overthinker anyway. And I already, like, my mind, and I don't be trying to, but when something just doesn't feel right in my spirit, I already, like, my brain, like, something is wrong. And I don't never want to go to the worst thing, but I can, 90% of the time, like, just feel something is not right.
And everybody over here nosy. Just like the other day when you had to help the man that passed out.
Yeah.
Everybody came out, what's going on? What's going on?
It was like, what's going on? It was like...
Oh my God, I'm just trying to figure out what's going on.
I was like, okay, you did everything. Like, just come there, because I'm such an overthinker. So, and then now I've been thinking, like, making sure he good. I'm, like, trying to figure out where he stay at. And so that I can, like, make sure he's straight. Like, what happened? Yeah. Like, is he okay? Did he
Normally, I see everybody. I haven't seen him. So.
Yeah, I haven't seen him walking since that happened.
John tries his best to balance and get as close to the window as he can, and his stomach drops. I mean, the heavy gut feeling that he had was confirmed. Shit. The house was totally ransacked. Just things were thrown about everywhere, and there were some splatters on various surfaces that were very dark. And yes, it looked like blood. Like, it didn't look like someone was spilling water. It didn't look like a water balloon burst. It was blood. John runs back to his house. He calls 911, and within minutes, at around 8:30 a.m., officers arrive at the house for a welfare check. I think officers were expecting to walk into a potential home invasion or some sort of burglary. Maybe a domestic issue, but I don't think that they were prepared to come across a scene that looked like it was out of a scene of Breaking Bad. They walk into the house. Furniture turned over, thrown everywhere. Doors, cabinets, all swung open. Blood splattered on the walls, floors, bullet fragments throughout the house. What? And in the middle of the chaos, there was a man laying in a large pool of blood. He had been clearly shot multiple times. To get a better idea of who this was and how they were killed, authorities searched the rest of the house and found several packages of marijuana packed in airtight wrappings, 129 pounds of marijuana.
129 pounds? That's like a human.
That's like, yeah. So in Texas, marijuana is not legal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that would be, that would probably possession with intent to distribute.
Hell yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So they also found 10 pounds of hash oil. So think of like a dog, like the weight of a dog in hash oil.
What is a hash oil?
It's like a CBD oil that is like more potent than marijuana.
Okay.
And when they opened up the freezer, they found $36,000 in cash staring back at them.
But
36,000.
nobody took this?
No.
Nah.
I mean, the marijuana.
That's not a home invasion. All that marijuana, hash oil, and 30.
Unless they didn't know the 36 was in the fridge, because that is.
No, even that, you still gonna take the marijuana. You still gonna take the hash.
Or did they take some of it, but just not a? Like,
No, I'm taking all of it.
So it probably wasn't there. It probably was a little bit more personal.
But it's made to look like a robbery. You don't leave, and then you gonna most definitely check. I think a lot, because
especially you in there, you got, so you'll be all up and through the house.
You gonna look for that,
checking everything.
You gonna look for the money, bro. Yeah, it's made to look like a.
Itself is worth a lot of money, but then $39,000 just in cash.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
And you
why
say
it
all the
wasn't taken.
cabinets were open.
Yeah, so it seems like someone was trying to find money or find drugs or find something. But what happened? Like, how did they not take any of this? And why is there someone dead?
Yeah.
Because this is just doesn't make sense. Like, what the hell happened here? Was this a drug-related murder? If so, why did they not take anything? Why didn't they take the marijuana? Why didn't they take the frozen cash? Authorities, they quickly pieced together that the dead man in the living room was not James. He was not the homeowner.
What?
So who is he? How is he connected to all of this? The man in the house was 35-year-old Dana Risdale. He was actually from Oregon, but James was a very close friend of his that he was visiting in Houston.
Okay.
So James had actually lived in Oregon prior to all of this. And this is kind of pertinent because both of them were in the marijuana business, and it's completely legal in Oregon. So they were legal distributors of marijuana. And then James decided to kind of take a step back from this business. He stopped working with all of his companies in Oregon. He moved to Houston to focus on being a father, and his best friend Dana was visiting him. Now, it does seem like maybe he hadn't cut all of the ties because, like I said, there were 129 pounds of marijuana in his home. And I don't want to see people victim blaming, because it doesn't really matter if you have possession of drugs. If you're murdered, like, that means nothing. Like, you can't be like, oh, well, they had drugs. It's a very weird way of thinking. So it seems like they hadn't fully cut the ties. Now, the problem is marijuana is illegal in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Dana seemed to be visiting his close friend in Houston. And people said that the two were just like as thick as thieves. They had very similar energies. They had these larger than life personalities. They were also the type of friends that very much valued loyalty.
What does it mean, as thick as thieves? Is that a saying?
It's a saying, yeah, where they're just the type, like, when you're friends with them, you know they have your back. And they're just really best buds. They would never betray each other. There's no way that anyone could come between them. Like, thick as thieves, you know? And it sounds cheesy. And in today's case, loyalty might not seem like such a positive thing anymore. You're going to see why. But these two, they were very loyal and they were very honest with one another. Like, you know, those friends that will stick by you no matter what? But if you do something, they'll be like, hey, that was dumb. Why did you do that? That was kind of their friendship. So why was James's close friend Dana, who was presumably there to meet and visit James, why was he found dead in his house? And where was James? Police had a few leads to follow, one being Dana's car. Neighbors reported seeing a Dodge Ram with Oregon license plates. It's like a pickup truck parked in front of James's house. And now it's
good vehicles. If that's the truck, because he also got the the cover. That's probably how he traveled with the, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He had that to cover, so and probably had the drugs in a suitcase. Not, you know what I'm saying, for the smell purposes, but damn.
With Oregon license plates. It's like a pickup truck parked in front of James's house. And now it's missing. Clearly, Dana wasn't the one to drive it off the property, so who did? It seemed like whoever the killer was stole Dana's car afterwards as like a getaway vehicle of sorts. So this car could potentially provide them for the answers that they're looking for. They issue out a be on the lookout, a BOLO, for the 2002 white Dodge Ram. Additionally, authorities reported James missing. They tow the Toyota Prius. So the Toyota Prius is James's car. It's in the garage. They tow it to their impound lot. This is like police evidence lot. This is not just like a random tow truck lot. This is police evidence. This is where they're going to take your car if they confiscate it. And they go back to following the rest of the leads. Dana's pickup truck was found 2 days later, abandoned. Just the truck was completely empty. James was nowhere in sight. They towed Dana's truck to the police station to be processed for possible evidence as well. And other officers that are working on this case, they used Find My iPhone to track down James's phone. It was just left at the White Oak Bayou. So it looked like either someone discarded it to get rid of evidence, or maybe James himself could have thrown it out the window or thrown it away himself to avoid being tracked and throw officers off his trail. So now, authorities have Dana's body, Dana's car, James's phone, but where is James? Right. Now, this is the part that I cannot wrap my head around. This is truly bizarre. 5 days later, investigators find James's body in the Toyota Prius.
What?
In the trunk of the Toyota Prius that they that they had confiscated and impounded to the police lot 5 days ago. I don't know why.
Kidding
and
me.
It's not like he was hidden somehow in this very intricate manner in the Toyota Prius. He was in the trunk of the Prius.
Wow.
There's even a very eerie picture of a police officer with crime scene tape all over James's home, and you see the Toyota Prius still parked in the garage, and the officer is kind of like looking at it. At that moment, James's body was in the trunk.
What?
Yeah.
I just...
That's freaking insane, bro.
So I guess they just started processing the Prius for evidence and popped open the trunk. So that's on February 1st of 2023. They found James Martin's body. I mean, it's just so confusing to me. Nobody knew why. Nobody knew why they didn't search the car earlier, because it seemed like they had multiple officers working this case, clearly. I saw some arguments that said that they weren't able to get a warrant until 5 days later. But I highly doubt that. Like, you're talking about a very gruesome murder. I think the judge would have prioritized the warrant to a degree. And they they had so much probable cause to get a search warrant, like stat ASAP.
Wait, there's a murder and you need a warrant to search the crime scene?
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
And okay, please, someone who's more familiar with the legalities of this. But if they're already searching the home,
and they impounded a car, they took the car.
The car is at the home.
Yes, if you have the authority to move private property like a car from one location to another, I feel like you could search the car.
Yeah.
I mean, also, if
You
they're
don't
already
need to search the car. You're already in the car.
Just pop
They're
the
already
trunk.
driving the car or take... Yeah, exactly.
But they don't
I
drive the
just
car.
don't
They
understand.
wow.
Okay, and another thing is, if they're already searching the home and the car is technically on property, would it not be a part of the search warrant?
I thought so.
And I also believe it is much, much easier for police to search your car versus your home. Like, the amount of probable cause that they would need to search your car is like here. Maybe they went in the car and they're like, oh, it seems totally normal. There's no blood, there's nothing, so we should be fine.
It just happened.
It's just a very strange detail to this case. I hope it's explained later during the trial, because I personally don't understand it. If you have more insight, please let me know in the comments. I tried looking more into it, but I'm like, none of this makes sense. Everyone seems confused. So back to the case. James was found beaten, tied up, and dead in the trunk of his car. His feet, ankles, and hands were bound with duct tape. There was also duct tape wrapped around his head and face. It was also clear that he too died from multiple gunshot wounds, just like his friend Dana. So police now they have a double homicide on their hands. And honestly, it's a very weird situation. They have a little bit to go off of, but it's not a lot. The sheer amount of marijuana found in the house, along with the money in the freezer, it gives them potential insight on the type of crime that it could be, on the type of people that might be involved, but it doesn't really answer who exactly is still involved.
Right.
They had no eyewitnesses to go off of. None of the other neighbors saw anything. Yeah, sure, John was like, my dog was barking up a storm that night, but he didn't see anything. He didn't hear anything. All James's neighbor said was, we saw that pickup truck, the Dodge Ram, Dana's car, and then it was gone. That's it. We didn't see any people go in and out of the house. We didn't see someone drive off in that car. We don't know. So the police, they went to their favorite eyewitness, security cameras. They canvassed the area to see if anyone had Ring cameras, home security cameras, businesses with security systems, and eventually they found videos from different cameras, different angles, and they were able to piece together somewhat of a timeline. Eventually, these little videos, like little breadcrumbs, like, you know, the tape on the forest, like when you leave little breadcrumbs, it's like that. It would lead them straight to the suspect's door. And I think, you know, with a case like this, I'm sure the police don't have a suspect image in their minds, or at least they shouldn't if they're good at their jobs. Like, you shouldn't have a preconceived notion of who the suspect is, right? But with everything they were presented with thus far, the evidence, the breadcrumbs, the clues, I imagine that they had a vague idea of the type of person that they were looking for. You're like, okay, maybe you could see them and be like, I could see how these two are connected. Maybe the suspect has some drug charges in the past, or maybe this person has some sort of criminal history, maybe some dealing charges. I could see that, right? But they ended up at the door of a Sanrio-loving, pastel-obsessed TikToker/influencer, Kathy Vu. And they're like, what the hell is going on right now? For example, Kathy posted a TikTok where she gave dating advice. And she said, it's okay to be independent, but don't make it the main reason why someone should date you. She talks about how before she met her current boyfriend, she used to feel like she had to prove to all these boys that she was independent and that she made her own money. And she felt like it was a good thing to show men that she didn't need them. But instead, she said she realized she was only attracting bums. That's what she said, bums. With that kind of attitude. Basically saying, as a woman, you should be taken care of. This is paraphrasing, but she said she never really received flowers from anyone before she started dating her boyfriend because she just wanted to show men how chill and indifferent and laid back she was. She wanted to make herself digestible. And she advises young girls that they should take up space, that they should be as irritating as you want to be. Like, don't change your personality for men. Like, don't do these things for men. She said that now she doesn't want to go through relationships dumbing herself down to make herself convenient for others, mainly men.
The only men that you attract by proving that you don't need much are bums. They foam at the mouth when they find out that you don't need much from them to be happy. The only person I was hurting by not requiring much from my partner is myself. Bum-ass men love women that are really independent because most of the time this hyper-independence comes from some type of trauma.
Now, we don't know too much about Kathy Vu's relationship other than what she puts out there, which is, it's pretty clear that she's very selective in what information she puts online about her boyfriend. There are parts of their relationship that now in hindsight people have been picking apart. Yes, there are, okay? So Kathy stated that her boyfriend was shy. And that's why she never really showed his face on camera. I don't even think people knew his name.
Bullshit.
Her boyfriend's name is Paulie Fan. And in hindsight, netizens now believe that she never shared his face because he was heavily involved in illegal activities.
Bingo.
But it does seem like he showered her with monetary gifts. He would take her on trips, buy her designer stuff. But Kathy still prided herself in having this very successful career. So yeah, from the outside, they seem like a very perfect couple. Well, now, video evidence showed two men, presumed to be Paulie and Paulie's good friend Jaden, arriving at Kathy Vu's apartment complex.
When did they arrive at Kathy's?
The day before the murder, like the night of the murder.
Oh, so they met up there first before
Yes.
they... Okay.
The police are trying to reverse track the movements. All they know is that Dana is dead and James was found dead in his white Prius that was parked in his garage. So they're trying to see, when did the Prius pull up to the garage? Where was the Prius coming from? Who was driving the Prius? So they get all these little CCTV clips. And the last time that James was seen alive was entering Kathy Vu's apartment. Or at least...
So something happened at Kathy's house. They put James in the trunk. They went back to James' house. His friend Dana possibly still inside the home. And so when they went inside the home, something happened. They killed him. They probably was trying to rob him. Panicked because Dana now killed. We don't want no neighbors to come. And then we fled off got in Dana's truck, fled. Or Dana arrived at the house and walked in on him. Because Dana probably was parked behind the Prius. They probably left the Prius running, thinking they could just run in, get what they need,
and run out.
But Dana pulls up behind them, a conflict insinuates.
And instead of taking the deceased
Prius.
Body with the
With the-
Prius,
yeah, the Prius with the body.
with the deceased body, they were like, we just gonna take his truck.
Because now we have to back the truck out, back the Prius out, and it was too
Right,
much.
so it was
So let's
too
just
much.
hop in the.
And then they dumped the truck, dumped James' cell phone,
And had what's her
and
name,
had
Kathy, come pick
clean
him up.
Pick her up, but she had to clean up the crime scene at her place.
At her place, yes.
Because I was like, where she comes in cleaning up a crime scene, and then
The
I was
crime
like,
scene
oh,
is-
because something happened at her. Now that she does
One crime scene is at her home, but there's two crime scenes.
But it's two in two different locations.
You got James and you got
Dana.
wow, that's damn.
The apartment building. But on the CCTV cameras, they don't see Kathy Vu. They see Kathy Vu's boyfriend and their friend Jaden Wen. So you've got Paulie and Jaden meeting up with James at Kathy Vu's apartment building.
So we never saw James driving home.
No. They actually see other people driving home.
So the white Prius was driven by someone else.
Yeah. So the white Prius is
But also, if that's the case, we got to see them putting the body in the trunk. You got to see them put the body in the trunk.
driven by James into Kathy Vu's apartment building. So James is alive at this point and he's driving his car and he's meeting up
that's
with
not on
Paulie and
camera.
Jaden.
Yes.
That's what it seems like, right? Because what they're kind of guiding him into the garage, motioning him to park in the garage. Now, this is where I have questions.
True.
All reports indicate that this was a regular schmegular apartment building garage, meaning like a parking lot. Maybe there's a gate. Maybe you need like a beeper to get in or some sort of like tag to get into the garage. But it's pretty public. Like the rest of the residents can use it. Maybe guests of the residents can use it. I don't know.
Is it a parking garage or is it like apartments that have garage? Because you know how we have here where you can have an apartment, but you can have your garage underneath your apartment?
Yeah, we don't know.
Or is it a parking garage apartment complex type thing?
Yeah.
Because you know what I'm talking about with the ones with the garages?
Yeah.
Yeah.
From what she just described, it seemed like it's a parking
garage.
parking garage. Because the other people can park there. So I'm like, it's a parking garage, right?
Or she insinuated.
Because we're not sure. She said people say it's a park. So we'll see.
How all of the next series of events plays out if this is just a regular schmegular parking lot. Because soon someone's going to transport James's body into the trunk of his car.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
How was that done, right?
We don't know yet. And I'm sure maybe they're saving that for the trial. Some people have speculated online that there are certain apartment complexes that have private garages for residents to lease. So it's like a home garage.
One of those.
It's weird.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like
what
a
I was
home
talking about,
garage. It's closed off. It doubles as like a storage unit.
Yep.
But I couldn't tell if Kathy Vu's apartment offered that type of service or even had that. So all we know is that James is seen driving up in his Toyota Prius. He meets up with Paulie Fan, Kathy Vu's boyfriend, and their friend Jaden Wen. This is the last time that James is seen alive. The last time he's seen is walking into the apartment with the two men. There is no movement. And then nothing happens. There is no movement, no significant happenings on camera, and half an hour later, you can see the garage doors to the apartment complex open and the CCTV cameras show two men backing out of the garage in James's Prius. James is nowhere to be seen. And the police track the Prius all the way back to James's home. So it seems like the theory is James was murdered inside this apartment. Yes. He was put into the trunk of his car, and then his car was driven back to his house. The two men are suspected of being inside James's house, and within that hour, Dana arrives in his Dodge Ram. And a little while after that, Dana's Dodge is seen driving away from the house. And once again, there's two men in that Dodge. So from the footage, it's easy for authorities to piece together a theory of what they believe took place. And again, this is just a theory. No one has been convicted. Authorities believe that James was lured to the apartment complex where Kathy Vu lives by Kathy's boyfriend and their friend Jaden. He met up with the two men. There are some rumors that Kathy helped lure James to the apartment, but I don't see any proof of that. James was most likely ambushed, tied up, and murdered in the apartment. Authorities felt that it was...
But why, though? Could she have possibly helped lure him there? Because he's thinking he's finna meet up with some chick. because the only way you pull up there and you be okay with going to see Paulie if y'all already have some type of relationship. We got the age of Dana, which is 35. How old is James? We don't have James' age. Cause I'm thinking he's up in his 30s like that too. If Dana's 35, he has to
But
be.
when he got there, right, he already had seen them.
True,
So
because she did say they told
they
him
told him like where to park.
so he had to be comfortable with them.
So my thing is I'm trying to figure out what relationship are they like into that business as well, and then maybe he was
got to
like
connect.
trying to,
He knew
like
he
it's
had
like that type
plug.
of situation. Also, I'm wondering, was the intent? Were y'all waiting? Knew that Dana was here, and were y'all waiting? Because an hour is a long time, right? In between, y'all just in James' house. Did y'all take anything? Doesn't seem y'all going through stuff, but
y'all left too much.
But y'all left too much. Because an hour is a pretty good time to get a lot of stuff.
Get what you need to get and get the fuck out. Yeah.
Especially everyone sleep. The time of morning, I can't remember, but it was kind of late because
it was late at night because
John, that's the name we're using. John,
the
sleep
pseudonym.
dog. Yeah, pseudonym. That's the name. So I'm just a little confused as to like really what's the motive, like what's and what relationship y'all have for real with each other.
It's deep. That's some deep shit right here. Then y'all tie him up and everything.
Duct tape
his feet, his ankles. So you just imagine his feet, duct tape, his ankles, his wrists. I wonder did they tape him around his knees too? So you like bound like this, right? And duct tape his head and his mouth.
And then shoot.
That's a lot, bruh. I wonder you bound like this or bound like, and then you duct tape.
And then with
that's
apartments,
horrible,
I
bro.
wonder how like in close like how the layouts and like
because somebody in the apartments had to, because
the neighbors hear anything, any gunshots,
unless they put him in a trunk, drove somewhere else, and boom, 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 while he was in the trunk. But they ballistics would have been still in the trunk, right? The gun, like this some made for TV type shit.
Well, yeah, true, because she wouldn't have had a crime scene to have to clean up in her house unless like they beat him and blood dead. But
he died from blood.
Still, so it had to have happened. Child, this is too much. This sounds like some stuff you
made for TV movies.
Was clearly premeditated. And just going by the officer's theory moving forward, they believe that the suspects, Paulie, Jaden, right? They place James in the trunk of his own car. They drive to James's own house where they park the car in the garage, kept the car running for whatever reason. I'm not sure entirely why. Maybe they were in a rush. Maybe it was just the chaos of the situation, but it is a strange detail. Authorities believe now they went inside to ransack the place, looking for drugs, money, and or both. But while they're in that process, Dana comes home, sees what they're doing, and officers theorize that Dana was killed to avoid any eyewitnesses to this crime. And since they had just escalated from a homicide to a double homicide, and the idea that perhaps, the murder of James was premeditated to agree, they might have felt like now this is getting out of control. Like we had planned to kill James. We had planned to do this. But now this is like a shit show. This is a mess. Maybe there was even a struggle that broke out. This is the theory, right? Authorities believe it was a spur-of-the-moment decision to kill Dana. Maybe they were so shaken up that they fled right away without taking any of the drugs or money. Or maybe they believe that the gunshots could be heard by the neighbors. They drive away in Dana's car because...
That is true, because I was like, when she said, when they showed the homes, I said, because we know those type of homes. There's no way, unless John was fucking tired as fuck. Unless John, it could be John's neighbor, but not like a direct neighbor.
I think he across the street.
Is he across? He could
across
be
the street. But any neighbors that's beside him
should have heard something.
Unless you just sleep heavy, because I always talk about she ain't gonna hear nothing unless you just a heavy.
Me?
No. I said somebody.
If I hear something, I think it's something going on. I think I'll hear it. I don't think you will hear it.
No, I sleep kind of hard too, y'all.
Yeah, I think I would hear it before she would. Cause we do this all the time, like. Sometimes I hear stuff. Yeah, I'll wake up before you will. Cause like even the other day when
I woke up.
The alarm was going off because it was another reason why I ain't talking about the alarm, but I'm talking about like even people knocking at the door and stuff. I hear that before you.
I don't get up.
They can't take James's car. James is in the trunk of that car. They drive away in Dana's car, abandon it on the side of the road, and then they run on foot. Is the theory, is the allegation.
Ooh, run on
I mean, the
foot.
movement kind of makes sense.
That's different.
If this theory does come to be true, it's genuinely terrifying that two people's lives were taken so abruptly and brutally for some drugs and money. Like, I get it, it's a lot of drugs. I get it, it's a lot of money. But, like, where's the humanity?
So what?
That 9 times out of 10 you didn't even get in the end if you didn't take anything. Yeah. My life is worth some drugs.
I really feel like, because those driveways do be tight, I feel like Dana was parked behind the Prius.
Yeah, possibly.
I think that's the reason why. It's not because the body was in there. I think it's 100% because...
Yeah, possibly, but it's just...
For some drugs and money. Like, I get it, it's a lot of drugs. I get it, it's a lot of money. But, like, where's the humanity? Like, These are people. Now, I know a big argument of this case is going to be, why were there drugs in James's house in the first place? And like I said, James and Dana were said to be commercial marijuana farmers from Southern Oregon, where it is very much legal and they were licensed. But more recently, James had moved back to Houston just to be closer with his family. And it seemed clear that both of these men wanted to distance themselves from this line of work. They were kind of pulling away from the industry. James, he wanted to focus on being a good dad for his son. Meanwhile, Dana, he started kind of hanging out more in Portland. He wasn't a father yet, but he had a nephew and niece in Colorado and in Washington. He would take time out of his busy schedule, travel across state lines just to spend like a day or two with his niece and nephew. It's like people said he came alive whenever he saw his family. You could just see how proud he was to be a part of their lives and just to watch them grow, which is a pretty big sacrifice for Dana. Dana was big with work. It really was his passion before he started kind of pulling away. So in 2016, he started a cannabis distribution company called LTMRN. It was pretty successful. A lot of people said that Dana just had this crazy networking ability. Like, if you had an aerial view of a networking event, people would all kind of like ebb and flow around, but there was always a circle just gravitating towards Dana. People really liked him. He was hilarious. He was a good-natured man, and people could see that within just like 5 minutes of meeting with him. It was so easy to talk to him. He had all this life experience and a lot of stories that he would share with people, and it was just so fun. He would be out one day partying in Vegas, and then the next day he's hiking through Yosemite. I mean, this was a man that loved to experience life and just go on these new adventures and just really challenge himself to see what else is out there. It was something that he had in common with James. A friend of James said, you could see this man in a meeting with Fortune 500 CEOs. He would fit right in, he would be comfortable in his own skin, and then that night he would fit right in at like a crazy rock concert. He also loved rapping. He self-produced a fun rap song called Hustle Hustle Ball. And like some of his friends kind of poked fun at him because he's shirtless and he's got sunglasses and a backward cap on in the video, and he's like rapping. It's posted on YouTube, and they thought it was very, very silly, but it's also just what made him so lovable. He was very free-spirited. He didn't care. He never took himself or anything that seriously. He just did what he liked. He just did what made him happy. He also founded a Portland-based edibles company in 2016. And in the end, by 2023, both of these men were starting to pull away from the cannabis industry in Oregon. James, he wanted to do it for his family. Dana, he wanted to try experimenting with different businesses. But I don't think that, it's something that you can just wake up and wash your hands of. Just be done with the industry. Maybe they had a lot of inventory left over. Maybe it was, something else. It was a business that they had built for years. So most likely, it seems that a few ties had remained. Now, the problem is marijuana is not yet legal in Texas. So police, they execute a search warrant on Kathy Vu's apartment. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this is the same apartment that she did the whole series of moving into my new apartment on. Like the one that kickstarted her career on TikTok. And everything had been so wholesome online, and it is now believed that this very apartment is allegedly where a murder took place. So it's kind of jarring. I do want to clarify that Kathy was never seen on CCTV cameras luring James into the garage, and that's not to say that she's not involved in some way, shape, or form, but authorities clearly believe that she was.
Do we know if she was home inside or no?
It doesn't seem like it from what I can gather, but we haven't received like a firm statement, at least that myself and my researchers haven't been able to find, where it was like she was not home.
Okay.
It's kind of like all these different things lead us to believe that she wasn't home at the time.
Okay. And I'm sure if she was home, it would be shown on CCTV that at one point she arrived home earlier of the day.
Yeah.
That will put her at the crime scene, which will change her charges
Yes.
for this case. Right?
Yeah, she'd probably be an accomplice to capital murder.
Right. So, okay.
Yeah, so authorities clearly believe that she was involved in some way, shape, or form. They found an HEB store receipt. So this is like your Ralph's or your Kroger. They found a receipt that showed that Kathy purchased items the day of the murder. And, the items they were suspicious. She bought bleach, peroxide, trash bags. On top of that, police found bleach and iodine bottles in the back of Kathy's car.
Bleach and what?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's
Bleach.
peroxide. Peroxide get a lot of stuff up out.
And also, like you
Iodine.
said, like when? After it happened, because keep in mind, it is early in the morning, so the day of still. Or, well, yeah, I guess the day of. Yeah, so after the fact.
I got no time, bro.
Yeah, I do need
Timestamps let me know a lot about her. Because she bought it earlier.
Bleach,
This is 100% her assistance on premeditation. If she bought it later, this is accessory. But if she bought it earlier, it's premeditation, right?
Yeah.
And if she bought it later, accessory.
Iodine.
What's
It's
iodine?
like salt, basically. It's like a cleaner. You can use it as cleaning. Found in the back of Kathy's car. And to buy that on the day of the murder is it's kind of suspicious when someone is seen coming into your apartment and then never seen coming out, and then you buy cleaning supplies before the murder took place.
Oh, this was before.
Not
Oh, my
after,
goodness.
not during,
Oh,
but it was
gosh.
before James was last seen alive.
Oh, yeah.
Premeditation.
That y'all already knew what was up.
She knew what was up, too.
You knew that
The day before.
Paulie and Jaden was going to have James over.
But the argument would be these are just normal household supplies, which is true. Everybody buys bleach, but is that the only thing you buy?
If that's these bleach. Okay, cool.
Bleach is common.
I've never bought iodine. No,
I have.
not that big bottle. Well, I don't know if that was I don't know.
Yeah, I have iodine.
Yeah, I have. Well, we do have some, but we just have the little.
It's the smaller joint.
Small one.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was that size.
Yeah, that'd be
and
OD.
then the peroxide, peroxide
About
is
peroxide,
normal.
yeah.
Trash bag's normal, but it's just kind of. It could be a coincidence.
But I need to know what other supplies she bought.
It
too.
could be a coincidence that you just so happen to buy all this stuff on the day of the murder.
Yeah.
That took place.
I need to know.
Residence.
I need to. If she bought that before the murder, 100% she has to go down with the murder.
But
I'm not getting her just accessory. I'm getting her accomplice. But
accomplice to murder. Accomplice to murder.
Yeah, I'm giving her that because you already knew and you helped orchestrate it.
Again, it could be a coincidence, but my
That's
gut is telling me
conspiracy.
it ain't.
That's
I don't know. My gut is telling me that it's not. Let me stop saying that. My gut is telling me that it's not.
It's not what?
I said it could be a coincidence. I said
Okay. But at least premeditated to the first murder. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily. So my thing is, I'm charging you with conspiracy to commit murder.
Okay.
Giving all your conspiracy to commit murder.
Okay.
Giving y'all first degree murder. On two charges of first degree murder. Her, one charge of first degree murder, but conspiracy to commit murder as well.
Yeah.
And then you can argue with that if you want to drop that, whatever, drop them. Nah, she get conspiracy and first degree. She ain't getting, I can't give her Dana because she wasn't there with that one.
But to be fair, I mean, you could argue that maybe she was just a clean freak. I mean, there was a TikTok that she posted that stated that she loved cleaning. She was insinuating that she was kind of a bit of a clean freak. I will play it for the visual watchers, but for the audio listeners, she's kind of doing a day in my life as a corporate marketing girl in the alcohol industry. She walks us through her day of getting ready for this promotional event at a club. She's got to go to Michael's, get some gift bags, set up a backdrop, photo booths. It shows her being being incredibly hardworking. But the part that has definitely been picked apart, like to hell and back, is at the club. During her Day in My Life TikTok, there is a moment where she talks about how this particular club has a wet rag scent because a lot of the workers use wet rags to clean the countertops. And she talks about how she even brought her own cleaning supplies and is literally seen in the TikTok cleaning the counters while people around her are partying.
Okay, so Heart, the club that we were at, sometimes has this like musty smell because of the wet rags they use. They're not entirely clean, so there's always this really bad lingering smell. My friends thought it would be funny to record me cleaning.
But also, that's just some everyday cleaner. That's some all-purpose cleaner.
I think the reason for saying all of this is because she's such, I guess, seems like that she's like a clean freak. So it's like,
but it's all-purpose cleaner. Now, if you bought all-purpose cleaner that day, cool, whatever. You bought bleach and peroxide. If you know what you can do with some bleach and peroxide, you can get us some shit and clean it. You know what I'm saying? You don't just, and I'll say this, you don't randomly just buy iodine. You buy iodine for a purpose. You know what I'm saying? And typically you buy iodine once and you keep it until it expires because you will never really use a lot of iodine. You know? So a lot of people don't constantly be buying iodine.
And let me say this also, which could be like so stupid to say or just so like probably not important. Well, I don't know what color the trash bags were, right, that she bought. But it's also giving me that since she's like such a aesthetic person, I feel like she won't buy a black trash bag. And the reason why I said it because my friend is like that. My friend is very aesthetic. Everything has to match. So if she can find some white or pink trash bags, she's buying white or pink trash bags just because they match her whole aesthetic of her apartment.
That's a little weird.
That's just how she is, though.
But yeah. I know.
And so when I see it, just made me think of that, and I was like, but I don't know if the items that was put up were like the exact type of items. We don't know.
Because some people prefer but I get you with the aesthetic thing. And if her aesthetic is very vibrant, bright, she's going white trash bags. She's not going black.
Yeah, it's just.
I think black trash bags is just more cleaner because they're black. So because white trash bags they a little more dirty once you put stuff in there.
Well, they meant for trash.
They all trash, but
they
you know what I'm saying.
Trash bin.
I actually didn't know they were recording at first, but I did bring my cleaner bottle from home to wipe down my section.
So people,
or she just did that for content purposes, for something. I feel like somebody like her would just do it for content because that's her whole thing. Because she's trying to go viral, and something like that will make somebody go viral. Because this girl's cleaning in the club. She might not even be like that for real.
Who knows?
Because people be facade on the internet though.
Picked it apart because she was cleaning.
Some people stated that she posted this because she wanted to kind of have something to fall back on. Like, you know, when you're in that state of like, this is purely speculation from netizens, not even police, okay? Yeah. Some netizens were saying maybe she posted it because she knows she's about to buy cleaning products for a murder. And now she's like slipping that in there to be like, look, I actually love cleaning. I'm just a clean freak. And that has nothing to do with anything. It's not. But
also, she's such a clean freak. There will be other content that's posted of her like doing deep cleaning. Because if there's plenty of content creators who do content of deep cleaning. Yeah. And they don't it's just not no all-purpose, because I know the cleaner because you used to buy it. But you wouldn't just have that one. It'll be like a lot of content about that.
Out of the norm for me. Some people were saying it's just a coincidence. So this TikTok would be dragged to the depths of hell and back and analyzed till it could no longer be analyzed. And some people argue that she truly maybe was just a clean freak. And while most of us probably don't buy bleach, iodine, peroxide, trash bags all at once, and coincidentally on the day of the murder that allegedly took place in your own home, but maybe she's a clean freak. Like, we won't know until there is a trial. Right. Authorities stated that they found a note on her phone, which was a list of items to purchase, including, but not limited to, bleach, towels, and iodine.
Is iodine a very common cleaning supply, or?
I don't think so. Because I feel like I would kind of consider myself a bit of a clean freak. And I don't even use bleach.
Iodine can stain. So a lot of people don't like using iodine a lot because it can leave a stain.
But in this matter, if it was for this purpose, What is it? What was it?
Iodine is used for like most of the time.
No, that's not what
Oh,
I'm
you
asking.
talking
I'm
about-
asking in this purpose. If she was buying these products because they were going to commit this crime, what is it used for in a crime? Like because I'm just ignorant to that.
In case something go wrong, instead of alcohol, you can use iodine on a wound. So, say for instance, a scuffle, a sue.
So maybe it was for them, for Paulie and Jaden. If
just in case
was,
we need,
I don't know.
decide to buy iodine just for a cut. Because a lot of people use like iodine on a cut or something like that, or because they don't want to burn from the alcohol, so they'll iodine. Yeah. Iodine strong, right? Peroxide could be used for a cut or a cleaner. Yeah. Because like I done got stuff up out of like using peroxide, and peroxide is a very good cleaning product.
When's the last time you saw bleach in our house?
Yeah.
Yeah, because, I mean, you can use a little bit. I mean, not saying that everyone with bleach in their house. I know that there's a lot of uses for bleach, but I guess it's just a very hard substance I try to stray away from as like cleaning my apartment girly. They also believe that this indicates that Kathy had prior knowledge of what was about to happen, and she was planning to help assist and have somewhat of an active role in the crime. They also ran her phone records, and they found that Kathy was messaging her boyfriend Paulie during and after the suspected time of the murders. Authorities think that she was coordinating using her garage and apartment and then coordinating the cleanup. So just to clarify, it seems like officers believe that she was helping coordinate and clean up the crime scene.
So we don't know what she said. No. This is from police. Police saying we feel like this is what was going on.
Yeah, I'm sure police know kind of what was said. Maybe the text messages, maybe not the phone calls, right? Like there were multiple FaceTime calls. There were some speculations that she was calling to verify it over and over.
Can't they get your FaceTime calls?
I'm not sure, but
because I swear I feel like I've seen someone one time they were like they can get your FaceTime call. I swear I might be tripping on that.
They recorded.
I swear I might be tripping on that one, but I swear I was like, never do FaceTime call if you're trying to handle some. Always on a, you know what I'm saying. But get you a burner. Never on a get you a burner. Get you a
over again that her boyfriend had closed the garage when they left her apartment. That's kind of what we know as of right now. After Paulie and Jaden left her apartment in James's car, she FaceTimed him 6 times in the span of 25 minutes. Oh. They also texted each other to verify that the garage door had been closed.
She knew.
So she at least know that they
are
left.
There.
They're there and they left.
But you could argue that she didn't know that James was there.
Right.
You could argue that she only thought that her boyfriend was there and was like, hey, babe, did you close the garage door? Because I'm not home.
But you blowing him up.
Multiple times or?
It says that she called him 6 times. Or she was FaceTiming with him 6 times in the span of 25 minutes.
Now I need to know who contact who. Because once I know who contact, like she's calling him, she's trying to get instructions or she's...
And I would like to know, is this a normal behavior? Because you do have some people... to be in relationships and they be want to know every little move, every little if y'all not like with each other, they blowing your phone up. They like super like
and this
FaceTime,
another thing I really
super texting. They like.
And this one other thing I really need to know.
So I would like to know if that is normal behavior. If not, then that's definitely suspicious.
Yeah, that. Go ahead. The one thing, and I don't think I think we all thinking about it. We haven't said it yet. When was the next time she was seen on CCTV footage coming in or out her apartment?
It may. She may say it, but I need to know that.
So I think more than the cleaning supplies, the text messages and the phone calls are probably a worse look, in my opinion. It just, the cleaning supplies, you could try and twist it and argue and be like, she works in a corporate sphere. Maybe she bought it for this or that. But the text messages are interesting. Now, I have seen some online discourse, and right now it's all speculations and rumors, this whole case is, but some people have posted online that Kathy was a very sweet, trusting, almost naive to a fault person that probably was too scared to say no to her boyfriend, which I'm not sure how to feel about that because she's 23, I believe. So when you're 23, maybe there's some things. I'm a people pleaser. I have such a hard time saying no to people. Trust me, I understand that feeling. I relate to it like on a spiritual, deep level. But if you ask me to clean up a crime scene, that's a solid no. So I don't know where that argument comes in. Some people say that she didn't really know what she was getting into and maybe thought that because her boyfriend was potentially allegedly involved in some harsh illegal activities, she was scared for her own life. She got roped into it because she was terrified. And that
No. She's been milking the lifestyle. He's been buying her luxury shit. She knew what her boyfriend was into because you can she knew. And so using that, she was afraid shit, because if you dating someone and you find out he's into that lifestyle, and you feel like you of some fear, I will hope everybody's different, but I will hope you will try to leave. Go ahead and leave because it can turn dangerous. You know what I'm saying? But once you start enjoying the luxury that you get in the purses, the bags, possibly the trips or whatever she's getting, he's paying a bill or two for you or whatever. Because you remember she said, I stopped and I started to change my lifestyle because all I attracted was bums. Now, you know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah, I feel you.
I don't know. Even her verbiage and a lot of stuff changed, bro.
Then I see the argument that people are saying, no, she's 23. She was actually benefiting from her boyfriend's alleged illegal work. She wasn't afraid to spend his money going on trips, getting all these gifts. She was benefiting in some way. And now she's cleaning up a crime scene. You can't really say that she was so scared and terrified. So it's just kind of an argument. I do think that it does rub a lot of people the wrong way, that she was kind of preaching online about having a good relationship and having boyfriends that respect and cherish you. Meanwhile, she is accused of doing something absolutely heinous for her boyfriend. I also see a third group of people, a very small, tiny group of people that believe if the series of events are true, they like Kathy even more now.
What?
I actually saw a lot of Reddit comments that said, gotta get me a ride or die like Kathy Vu.
I told you that ride or die bullshit.
Yeah, which is
that ain't
truly
boo.
unhinged if you
Very
ask me.
unhinged.
Yeah, this is not a movie. This is nothing to romanticize here.
That's weird.
Kathy Vu was taken into custody and she started giving her version of events. She claimed the night of the murders, she had a work-related dinner planned and she actually wanted to invite her boyfriend Paulie to go with her. He didn't show up and...
No, you wouldn't. Paulie don't even hop on social media with you, so he's most definitely...
You say he's super shy, right?
He's very he's secretive.
No. You said he's super shy, right? So going to an event where there's going to be a lot of people,
corporate event at that, they ask
has
questions.
he ever went to any other event with you?
Corporate events, they ask questions. So what do you do for a living?
Oh, I do a little this or that.
They nosy.
I dibble and dabble. Like what you gonna say? Like for real. But yeah. Anyway, girl.
Instead, he messaged her saying, "Hey, babe, sorry I can't go. Like emergency happened." So he couldn't be there. She stated that that's all she knew. She didn't know what the emergency was. She didn't know emergency was murder. He just couldn't show up to her work event.
And I give her like this low key benefit of that, right? The supply she went about. This can be the only thing if she flip and tell everything that she possibly do know. And she said, I only went about these supplies because he asked me to and if they were living together.
Yeah, he probably shot her a text or FaceTime or on the phone.
Hey,
like,
can you pick up
these
this
items up?
And she's
and
like,
maybe she added them to her list on her notes on her phone along with the other stuff that was on there.
And said,
Who knows? I don't know.
That's
maybe she didn't have any prior knowledge beforehand. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But it's still the after.
Did she know after though? Because somebody had to clean
up.
Or did a crime scene even happen inside of them? Because like I said, now I need to know ballistics. Were ballistics ever found in a trunk?
True. But I was just going off the title. So I don't know.
That's all he said. Now, I'm not sure if she did this as a self-preservation argument or if she was still looking out for her boyfriend, Paulie, but she told officers that James, the victim in the trunk, was the problem. She stated that he had a history of threatening people, including her own boyfriend, and she said, quote, if anything were to have happened, it would definitely have been self-defense.
That lock her ass up.
Anyway,
Throw that out there.
like I said,
He is bound, bro. There's no way that it's self-defense and he's taped up and bound. And then y'all go in his James' house and kill Dana.
by himself. You got Jaden. It's Jaden and Paulie.
Yeah, no.
Like, be for real.
No, throw her ass in jail too. Mm-mm.
That's what she told the police.
Yes, after being arrested. She told officers that James owed her boyfriend, Paulie, about $40,000. And when asked why, she said,
How much did James have in his fridge?
36 or 39. I can't remember.
But James owed about $40,000. They was trying to go in and get that.
Did you get word that he had this in his house or something?
Also, remember, now I want to know, when did they pick up Kathy? Because Kathy is still in the States. Paulie and Kathy. Kathy still is in the States.
Oh, that's her name?
Yeah, Kathy View.
Oh.
Paulie and Jaden have fled the country.
Yeah.
And just left your ass.
All right.
You ain't no ride or die. You a dumb
boyfriend Paulie about $40,000. And when asked why, she said, after a narcotics-related transaction that didn't go as planned, which authorities didn't believe. Because according to James's mom, Paulie was the one who owed James money. So while officers state that they had knowledge of a history between the two, it seems like they are inclined to believe that Paulie was actually the one that owed James money. And maybe, theorizing, this is pure speculation, potentially Paulie had lured James out under the guise of like, I'm going to give you your money back. And instead of giving his money back, he murdered him so that he could be absolved of that debt, and then went to his house to ransack it and steal stuff. And maybe it could even look like he was just targeted for the drugs.
But the plan is really not
smart.
Yeah, so I don't see how they think they.
I like how she hit that. She said smart.
Or like what you said, you wanted to make it look like. But
I would have took, even if I would have still took some drugs and the money thing. I think y'all would have found the money in the fridge. I think you would have.
Maybe.
If cabinets are open, I'm opening the fridge door. Yes, I'm opening the fridge door. Especially after some things I've seen. People will hide money. Breaking Bad. If you ever seen Breaking Bad, they hid the money in a fucking fridge.
Really not
I like how she did
smart.
Yeah,
smart.
so I don't see how they think they can get away with this for even a day.
Yeah.
Right.
See, that's the weird part.
I genuinely feel like if they found James's car in the trunk, this is my personal opinion, if they found James's body in the trunk sooner, potentially they wouldn't have been looking at a fugitive situation.
Yeah.
Because
like they will catch them immediately.
before they flee to Vietnam.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But even
That's
that,
the
they
fact.
still caught them very quickly.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, for real?
So Tuesday, March 21st of 2023, Kathy Vu was officially charged with tampering in the deaths of James Martin and Dana Rizdal. She appeared in court with the most Texan-looking lawyer I have ever seen in my life. Like, I'm talking cowboy hat and everything. Yes. Her attorney
that's
focused
Texas.
on getting her out on bail. He tried to draw sympathy from the judge, stating that Kathy Vu had lost her job after her arrest, which I don't know why he said that.
Somebody
I don't know
lost their
why
life.
certain attorneys say things like that, because it's kind of a situation of read the room, sir. 2 people were killed. I don't think
Exactly.
losing a job is the end of the world. And I don't think anyone is going to dig deep into their hearts right now to find sympathy for something like that. But her attorney continued to argue that Kathy had only been dating Paulie for a few months, and she, quote, only did what her boyfriend told her to do. That did not sit right with a lot of netizens, because ultimately she's not a minor. She's a 23-year-old woman who works a corporate job.
Wait, I'm so sorry. Before you move forward, the lawyer says she only did what the boyfriend told her to do.
Yeah.
So
That's already incriminating her.
Right. I mean,
unless, hey babe, can you go buy me the supplies? And all she did was buy the supplies and bring it back to him.
Unless that's what you insinuating, that it was just the supplies he told her and she just did it.
Other
But
than that,
she doesn't have any Like, be for real.
prior knowledge or anything else. That's the only thing.
Child. Even with her making that comment about James, it's giving me that you like, nope.
She know more than what she says she
Yeah.
does.
Is she? Are they admitting that she did something for the boyfriend
It seems
relating
like
to
it.
the case?
Yes. And I think
better
the
turn
speculation
snitch.
online right now is that she's working with the prosecutors and is going to get out on probably no time as long as she can testify. Is the speculation? We don't know.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just kind of a weird thing to argue when she's a 23-year-old woman who has a corporate job, who lives on her own, is very independent. Also, a lot of her brand identity was on being independent. And now it's like, no, she's not independent at all. She was manipulated. Has no idea what she's doing. Not saying that she can't be manipulated, but it's just, it was a weird argument to make in court. Netizens and the prosecutor argued she messaged him before, during, and after the murders. She bought the cleaning supplies and allegedly cleaned up the crime scene. To make matters worse, she went right back to posting TikToks the very next day, talking highly about her boyfriend, about how he's a great gift giver. And now,
Wait.
yeah, we don't
The
know.
next day of the crime?
Yes. Now, we don't know if maybe this is like a pre-filmed TikTok.
Still.
But she does go back to posting TikToks after the murder, before she's arrested.
About the boyfriend.
Yes, and she showed off this new MacBook that he had gifted her, which, a lot of people feel like it's her thank you for cleaning up a crime scene gift. That's what a lot of people said online.
One thing that's really sweet about my boyfriend is that he thinks that he's a bad gifter, so he always overcompensates his gifting and actually gets me really good things. He saw my raggedy ass 8-year-old MacBook and replaced it for me. This is my birthday present. I'm so grateful.
Wow.
Get y'all a dummy.
Wow.
Fellas.
Even if this was pre-filmed, still, like, this event just happened in your
And he fled, so he had to still inform you, babe. I'm finna. Nah, bro.
house last night.
So I see the argument that either she's incredibly heartless, and if this is all true, if the police theory is true and they're all found guilty, she's incredibly heartless. I do see the other argument of like she is trying to appear as everything is normal. Because maybe people would question if she suddenly stopped posting, or if
That
her
too.
content
That
was
is
suddenly a shift. She was no longer talking about that. She was talking about other things. I don't know. Either way, it's very unsettling, I think. And it's not really even about the MacBook, It's just the fact that people argue Kathy doesn't seem affected by anything. And that is just not normal behavior for someone who allegedly was forced into doing something they didn't want to do. Judge Lori Chambers ordered Kathy to wear a GPS ankle monitor while released on a $40,000 bond. She is not allowed to have any communication with Paulie or Jaden. Like I said, a lot of netizens were very confused about how she got off so lightly, but it is speculated that she's most likely working with the prosecutors to testify against Paulie and Jaden later. Because while Kathy was still in the US to face the legal battle herself, Paulie and Jaden were nowhere to be found. Side note, I do see a lot of discourse that this is a learning moment for a lot of people. There is this romanticization amongst certain couples, like the ride or die couples, the Bonnie and Clyde couples. And sometimes that adds this romantic main character element to committing, literal crimes like drug dealing. But this is a good learning lesson that even if you think that your partner is your ride or die, and you could really feel that in your heart and soul, you would do anything for this partner, they are the Clyde to your Bonnie or vice versa. It might just be one-sided.
Yeah, the guy left.
Yeah, because if this is all true, if Kathy did indeed clean up a crime scene for her boyfriend left her in the US to deal with the aftermath while he fled to Vietnam without her. And he used her apartment to do the crime, allegedly.
Like, they know what's coming.
Yeah, this is not Bonnie or Clyde. This is Bonnie and the fugitive who doesn't care about Bonnie, if this is all true. So just be careful who you think is your ride or die, or just be careful if you think that you'll do anything for your partner. There is a chain of events, though, that gets triggered when Interpol sends out a red notice. The first step is any of the member countries of Interpol. There's 195 member countries. Each country can request a red notice be sent. A red notice is essentially a global, international BOLO. Be on the lookout for this fugitive on the run. Interpol, international police, will check the request to make sure that that government, that country is not hunting down a refugee, is not hunting down a whistleblower. And once approved, that red notice will be sent to authorities in 195 different countries, which it sounds like you still have places to hide, but not really. Almost every single country in the world is involved in Interpol and will receive a red notice on their desk.
So do they know that they went to Vietnam or they
Yes.
they knew?
They use their passports.
Oh, okay. So they just need to go to Vietnam.
Exactly.
Oh,
Then
yeah,
each
duh.
country will decide how to handle that red notice. Vietnam's Interpol received a notice. The United States were looking for 2 citizens involved in a double homicide, U.S. citizens, Paulie Fan and Jaden Wen. Now, again, to clarify, they're both U.S. citizens, and I'm not sure if they're born citizens or have immigrated. So it's unclear if they have family in Vietnam, and even if they did, were they staying with family? Were the family helping? We don't know. But we do know that the 2 fled to Vietnam. They're on the run. And the police have no official leads. They don't know if they went to Vietnam and then went on the run crossing borders, not using their passports. Here's a very interesting detail. One of the 2 perpetrators actually applied for an emergency passport reissue in the US, like immediately after the crime, and then fled to Vietnam.
What does that mean? Why is that?
So that, I think, goes again to bolster the theory that they thought that they could premeditate a murder against James, kill him, and get away with it. But once Dana came in and the whole thing flew out of control, now they're like, okay, shit has hit the fan. I need to leave the country. They apply for a emergency passport to leave the country.
They don't have a passport?
Maybe it was expired.
Oh, I see.
So that just goes to show, like, the train of thought. They thought that they were going to get away with James's murder. It seems.
What you're saying
Allegedly.
is, I'm sorry. What you're saying is the emergency passport, meaning he wasn't planning on leaving.
Yes.
This is very last minute. It's like, let me get my passport renewed so I can leave right now. So they didn't plan that part.
Exactly, in like 48 hours. So I think that's why a lot of people believe the police theory that they premeditated James's murder, thought that they were going to get away with it. It flew out of control when Dana walked in on them ransacking the house.
But what if that murder also is not premeditated?
Yeah.
That's why they didn't get the passport. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting, right?
Yeah.
Now the 2 have fled, and they're dealing with Kim Bryant. Kim Bryant is the unit manager of the fugitive apprehension team in the Harris County DA's office. She was tasked with locating Paulie and Jaden. So when this case comes onto her desk, she moves it up to the top of the priority just based on the shocking nature of the crime. She was told a few times by superiors and other people that had been working this unit, they're like, okay, the suspects have fled to Vietnam. Most likely, you might be looking at years, a few years before you can get them into the US again and formally charged for their crimes.
Like, it's hard to find them
Hard.
again.
It's hard. There's a legal process to extradite them. It's going to be messy. It's going to be a long time. But just truly to find them, I mean, it's not like they're the most wanted on FBI's list. It's not like we can pour all of our resources into this one case. It's going to be lengthy. But Kim said, it's not hard to be tracked in some way, shape, or form. And right now, with the time and age of digital footprint and surveillance, it will thankfully and hopefully always get harder and harder for criminals to go on the run and not be identified.
Yep.
So this little cat and mouse game begins. And as of right now, it's not entirely clear how Paulie and Jaden were caught. I think that this is going to come out during trial. So we don't know what tactics that the fugitive teams or potentially Interpol used to catch them. But there is a running theory on TikTok, only on TikTok, okay? That Vietnam, like most Asian countries, they've got a lot of ajumas. They've got a lot of moms, if you will, that love to gossip. So a lot of people think that there was a train of gossip or word of mouth that really was the nail in the coffin, caught the suspects.
I told you, motherfuckers get to
Which would be
talking.
fascinating.
So the locals kind of helped.
Yeah, that
is
the locals
theory.
were like, did you hear? Did you hear? Apparently they're in Vietnam. And I'm sure that this was a huge case for Vietnamese Americans because think about it. For Korean Americans, it would be a huge case. And then I'm sure that there would be a lot of Korean American to Korean discourse because there's connections. You know, we have family in Korea. The conversations would keep going. So June of 2023, Paulie Fan and Jaden were caught. Paulie was found living in Ho Chi Minh City. Authorities stated that he seemed alert, he seemed aware of his surroundings, yes, but he still tried to live a normal life, which is shocking. It's crazy. He would go to the gym. He would go out at nights on the weekends. He was actually arrested at the gym. Like, how?
I wonder which one that they actually spot first. And then did they try to watch you to see if y'all going to have continued communication with each other? I wonder, did they like recognize one and say, hey, let's just sit on it. Let's not immediately arrest them and see if they're going to lead us to the other. You know?
How do you go to a gym while you're a fugitive on the run?
He should be like hiding in the room, curtains closed.
Yes.
Wow.
Never going outside.
Yeah.
As for Jaden, he was found in the countryside, allegedly living with a woman and her family after telling them that he was going to marry her and get her a green card into the U.S., which I don't know how he thought that one was going to play out because, sir, you're a fugitive. They were extradited back to Harris County July 19th and July 21st, respectively. They have both been charged with capital murder, meaning that death penalty is on the table. Yep. So typically when you're committing a crime, and then you murder someone while you're committing a crime. Yep. So in the state of Texas, if you're robbing someone and you end up killing them, if you're having a drug deal and you end up killing them, if you're assaulting someone and you end up killing them, it's automatically capital murder.
Which is worse than just murder.
So just homicide, first degree homicide, you're looking at life in prison. Capital murder, it could be death penalty. All signs point to the fact that they will be facing potential death penalty charges. Both Paulie and Jaden have been refused bail. Jaden's attorney have stated that they may be able to indict my client, but they absolutely do not have enough to convict him. Which I understand that this is an ongoing case and that lawyers have a job to do, but I just feel like, again, not the best statement. It feels like, at least from a public perspective, they have video surveillance at the crime scene from two separate crime scenes heading from one to another. Then you fled to Vietnam. It just doesn't feel like it's not absolute. Mm-hmm. He's saying you have absolutely no evidence. I don't know if it's absolute. Maybe it's circumstantial. You could argue that, right?
Hard evidence.
So right now, people are speculating that Kathy Vu will be throwing Paulie and Jaden under the table. And now it seems like Jaden will be throwing Paulie and Kathy under the table.
Oh!
Jaden's going to try and be like, no, it was all the couple. I don't know what is going on. The couple
is
like Bonnie and Clyde masterminds. And I am just like a bystander to it.
I would pull that if I was
That's the speculation of how people think that it will play out in trial. I'm not sure how Paulie will be approaching this case with his attorney. I guess we will just have to wait and see how the trial goes. And again, just to clarify, we don't know the absolute facts of this case yet. We have a supposed motive. We have a supposed theory, but we don't know the exact reason that two individuals' lives were cut short and exactly who is involved in what. But it has been a huge relief for the victims' families that the fugitives were caught. James's family said, "We are thankful that we had James walk with us for the past 37 years. He's our sunshine and is now our shooting star out there in the greater universe, shaking things up. God will take him in the fold of super angels." Dana's father said, "It's so hard to grasp that he was just visiting a friend in Houston. He didn't even live there and he was murdered." Yeah. Dana's stepmother emotionally stated, "He did nothing wrong. He walked in the wrong door at the wrong time, and it has devastated our family." Dana's dad said, "For 5.5 months, I prayed for them to be caught every day. I'd like to meet the woman that's the head of the fugitive task force next time I come to Texas so that I can shake her hand, and if she'd allow me, I'd buy her a steak." Yeah. He went on to state that his son Dana was one of the better human beings that you would ever meet. He said, "We had a lot in common, and now that's gone, and he's gone, and I don't know how to make up for that." And that is the very viral case of how a TikToker is allegedly involved in a double homicide. This has been highly requested. Yeah, it's just, everything is kind of up in the air, though. Please let me know in the comments, what are your thoughts on this case? Did you watch Kathy Vu's TikToks before all of this happened? Were you a viewer of hers? Let me know, and please stay safe. I will see you guys on Wednesday for the main episode. Bye.
I tried to look up information. Wow. There's none. Still no information.
So they haven't even went.
Yeah. No updates on the case. I looked up Paulie. Is it Paulie or Paulie? I can't remember.
I think it's Paulie. No.
She said both.
Paulie. I don't know.
And what's his name? Jaden what?
Jaden Wynn.
No updates.
This is sad.
I ain't gonna lie, they dragging it out. 2 years. It's been 2 years, bro. You're dragging it out. And most lawyers try to drag it out.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all spend most up, man. This was a wild case, man. A very wild case.
I definitely want to. I hope I can remember to
Yeah.
Because we do so much, but I hope that I can make a mental note because I would like to know what happened.
Because I seen on Reddit, they got a Reddit there. Any updates? That was a year ago.
Rest in peace to James, and rest in peace to Dana as well.
Oh, they said Catherine made a new TikTok account vlogging and doing product reviews. She used a voice changer to alter her voice. And then somebody said it is her because all of the links in her bio has Kathy View in the affiliate link.
Because she is out still, right, on bail.
Yeah, she's out.
I wonder if they still making her wear an ankle monitor.
Probably. She's probably still doing TikTok, though.
Yeah, because...
And she already had a corporate job. She probably was able to sneak into another one. But hey, man, y'all spam us up. Y'all let us know y'all thoughts about it. Oh, you had anything? Oh, y'all let us know y'all thoughts about it for us in the comment section down below. But until next time, y'all know how it go, man. I do go for the dang DJ New Kid. This is
Sierra Nicole.
We are.
Kid and C.
We out.
Ain't no time to kick it, got a stack of flip for my foes. Dollar. Please tell me you can hear me. Don't turn your back and don't neglect me. Just let me know if you need me. Dollar. Let me watch out for my partners. Keep my money low.